Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor Nicholson if you don't know who I am already. If you do, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be answering some questions. I asked people on Instagram to give me some questions to answer on like one of those little polls, and I got quite a bit. A bunch of them are like repeat or similar, so I'm gonna try and like sift through them and not answer the same thing multiple times. But I did get about 30 questions, so I really wanted to just help those people that asked these questions, as well as anyone who just didn't ask a question but still was wondering about Airbnb. So I do own an Airbnb. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom right behind the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. That is currently where I live. It does great for me. I've had it up for about a month and a half, and it's been doing pretty good so far. So I really enjoyed that. I am looking to branch out, of course, and get it more automated so that way I can move to different places and get it in different places. So I just wanted to talk about these things that people had questions about. A lot of people DM me all the time asking me about it, so I figured why not just answer them all in one go. So we're gonna get right into it. If you like stuff like this and you want to continue to follow me on my journey, because I'm sure I'm going to be posting, like, my next video is going to be like, you know, the process. I filmed the process of moving all the furniture in and stuff like that, because I actually did it by myself, because I just wanted to be more hands-on and really appreciate before I start getting more and just automating it and having people do it for me. I'm just that type of person. I like to do things by myself at least once first, and then I have other people do it. So I did film that, and I am going to post that next whenever I freaking edit it. It takes me forever to edit things, especially when it's different clips of different things like that video was, but that's going to be next. If you guys want to know deeper into more numbers type of situation, I can definitely do a video about that. I am going to Miami in 2 weeks, and I'm going to definitely vlog that. I'm only there for like 3 days, but I'm going to vlog that because I'm going to be looking at apartments for myself to live in, and then potential Airbnbs down there, because Miami is a great place to have an Airbnb. Everybody knows that. Spring break, it's spring break in March, but even throughout the whole year, because Miami never gets cold, so people just love to go there. It's just a top destination. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna ramble too much more. I'm gonna get right into it. I have a bunch of questions to go through. I have my water bottle already on deck because I know I'm gonna need it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the number one question that I get asked a lot, and it's like very common, and I understand why, is how did I get started and why did I decide that I want to do Airbnbs? So I've always stayed at Airbnbs, of course. I've always known about them in the news and things like that, all the different rules and regulations around them and stuff like that. But I've also followed a lot of people on their journey of being Airbnb owners, and I've seen that a lot of them do make a lot of money doing it, and it just gives them the financial freedom and just freedom in general to be their own boss and do what they wanted. So that's kind of why I did it. And also, I love interior design. I love working with getting furniture, planning out spaces and stuff like that. So I originally was just going to be like an interior designer type of person for someone's Airbnb, but then I just decided to pursue more so of really honing in and getting my own. And how I got started, basically what I did was I was looking, you know, the traditional route. I was looking at high rises like the one I live in right now, just around Charlotte, and I was thinking, okay, well, these are going to be profitable if you're closer into the city or in like Noda or Plaza Midwood. If you don't live in Charlotte, those are like the top places to stay. A lot of people stay in like Uptown, Plaza Midwood, South End, and like Noda. So I was looking at all those. I was looking more so at high rises, and the process with that was very long and tedious. I got a lot of no's because Charlotte is not necessarily an Airbnb friendly city when it comes to high rises. So if you're looking to do one at a high rise, the best route is probably going to be like corporate leases, or, you know, just getting in cahoots with the property manager so that they know what you're doing. number one tip is you do not want to do Airbnb under the cuff or under the radar, because if they find out, they will shut you down and you will have to refund all those people that paid for their bookings, and it's just a whole lot of mess. Your account will get shut down. I actually have a story time about that if you guys want to hear it. I was doing it at this other Airbnb that I was living at, and it got shut down basically because I didn't go about it the right way. And it wasn't just me, it was like me and somebody else, but we didn't go about it the right way, so it got shut down. So we lost all that money. We made like a little bit of money, but it was only up for like a couple of weeks before they shut it down, because they have people dedicated to looking for that stuff. So after I realized that that really wasn't the route that I was going to go or that was going to work, I started looking at houses. Now the thing with houses is that there's not a lot of houses in like Center City, in South End. There are some in Plaza Midwood and Noda, of course, but not the ones that people want to stay at. Like, and then also with houses, you have to like kind of move further out, like University and stuff like that. University could be a good area, but it's just not where I wanted to look. And also with houses, you have to worry about all the upkeep, you know, all that stuff, making sure your tenants are fine, making sure your HOA, you're in a neighborhood that's safe, things like that. Like, you don't want to be paying a short, small rent and then not have a good house, or, you know, things like that. So after I went down that lane, I decided to look on Zillow, and I was like, let me just do this little feature of condos. So I went and looked at condos, because my understanding of it was that it was kind of like the best of both worlds. It's not necessarily a house, but it's not an apartment per se. It's like, if you find these buildings where condos are in, people own them. So they kind of course they have an HOA that tells them, like, you know, what to do in your space, but they own it, so they can make the rules for their space. So I was looking at it. So one day I just found one. I happened to find one in this like old warehouse building right behind Bank of America Stadium, which I thought was gonna be great. It's like a cash cow, because people coming into the Charlotte, you know, we just had a soccer game. It was booked out, 75,000 people, and it's literally right behind the stadium. It's like 5-minute walk, if that. So I was looking at it. I got in contact with him. It was actually the realtor who had listed it. And I was like, hey, like, this is what I want to do. Do you think the owner would be okay? He asked the owner. They said, cool, that's fine. So we got into a conversation, and they said it was all good. And we got into the paperwork stuff, and that's how that started. So that's how I got into it. So the next couple of questions are about the money behind it, like getting started. So I have a question that says, what was the startup cost? How long did it take to make a profit? I also have one that says, how were you able to save money shortly after graduating for your business? How much money do you suggest having when first opening an Airbnb? How much did you spend on furnishing? So those couple questions. So let's get right into it. So I graduated from college, undergraduate, in December 2021. I technically graduated in August, but once I graduated in August, I moved very quickly. I got a job as a CVS pharmacy technician, which was good. You know, it wasn't like, it's not like a great thing, you know. I love pharmacy and stuff like that, but entrepreneurship was more so what I wanted to do. The way that I got the money was living in this high rise downtown in Charlotte. You get to meet a lot of people, and if you stay here, odds are you probably have some type of money to live here, because the rent market in uptown Charlotte is very expensive right now. So I got in touch with this guy that lived a couple floors over me. I'm not gonna say his name. I've actually had someone ask me to refer him as like an investor, and I don't think that he would want that. He's a very private person, but I got in touch with him and we connected. Me and a friend of mine connected with him. We went out to eat one night and we just started talking about things, and you know, a couple months went by, and then I really decided that I was going to start honing in on it. And a friend of mine actually decided, you know, to tell me, why don't you ask somebody to invest in your business instead of doing like a personal loan? So, you know, from the bank, which is the traditional thing. A lot of people do get like personal loans or business loans from the bank, but there's a bunch of different things with that. You have to go through all these accreditation things, like you have a set schedule on when you have to pay things back, things like that. So I didn't really want to do that because I have kind of been scared of like commitment in that way. I don't want to get into anything if I don't have all my eggs in a row. So I asked him about it. He said that he had an Airbnb in Charlotte before, in a condo that he owns, and like a bunch of like celebrities used to stay there and things like that. So he thought it would be a great idea. So we talked about it. He said, you need to put all this information on an Excel sheet and bring me your proposal before I give you any type of money. So I need to know all the startup costs that you think you're gonna have, the amount of rooms that you're gonna have, the square footage, what's already inside of there, where it is, like where is it close to, what food places can people eat at, what do people who stay in that area like to do. Like he wanted me to have all this information, which is a great thing. And looking back, I'm so glad that I did that. So that way, you know, I can determine if it was going to be profitable before I got into anything with him. So once I did that, I went to him and he said, you know, I think this would be a great idea. A couple weeks go by and basically asked him for an $11,000 investment. So that really covered the rent, which is $19.95, plus I had to put down a security deposit of $19.95, plus like $200 of like startup utility costs and stuff like that. And then for furniture, I ended up spending $7,000 on furniture. Now this is $7,000 of furniture that I got for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom place. So of course, if you get a smaller Airbnb or smaller space, you probably won't have to spend as much money. But that place, that's how much I spent, $7,000. And that came and went so quickly. I had it one day, the next day, well, really the next couple of days, as you'll see in the next video, quick little plug. But a couple of days later, that money was gone because I was ready to put that Airbnb up and start making money. So I needed to go find furniture. And also, I only spent $7,000, which a lot of people spend more than that sometimes if they get like better quality things. I wanted it to be all uniform. That's a tip of mine, is let it be uniform, nothing too fancy, because you don't want to decorate it like it's your home. But I spent $7,000 on the furniture, and I was getting it from like Facebook Market. I was cleaning it myself, stuff like that, which you'll see in the other video. I can't really give a suggestion on how much money you should save up or you should quote unquote have before opening an Airbnb. Because as far as furniture goes, because it really depends on the space. Like if you have a smaller space, you're going to need less things. You're going to need smaller things. If you have a bigger space, you want to fill it up and make it feel like homey and feel like it's something comfortable. Like everyone's been to an Airbnb where it's like a bed, a TV stand, and that's it in the room. And you just don't like the vibes of it, you know? It really all helps the customer or the guest experience. But I will say, when you're starting up, if you're going to get an investment from somebody, if you don't want to put all your money up and put it all into one thing, or if you do that, I would definitely suggest have the rent and security deposit, which they're going to ask for, and then also ask in your initial investment for a third rent. So basically you want to be covered if you don't make any money in the first month. So that way you don't have to worry about coming out of pocket for that payment. And if you're going to be paying them back, which is like what I'm doing, it's better to just ask for it all up front than ask continuously, oh, can I have more money? Can I have more money? I don't have enough, or paying out of pocket. So that's what I would suggest. I would have rent, security deposit, and then have an extra like emergency rent just in case. So the next question is, how did you find a property that allowed you to do Airbnb? Is it common or not? So I kind of already answered this. I looked around a lot of different places. It was a very tedious process, but in Charlotte specifically, it is like becoming more like frowned upon, I guess, by the HOAs and stuff like that, just because of security reasons and things like that, which is kind of BS because nobody wants to only go to a hotel. That's not the only option that we want, okay? It's definitely becoming more frowned upon in Charlotte, but there are places that you can find it and you just got to do the work. You just have to put in the work. So the next question is, where do I even begin as far as becoming an Airbnb host owner? I would definitely say the number one thing you want to do is research it before you decide to do any type of situation. This is any type of entrepreneurship, because once you quit your job, once you decide that you're going to work for yourself, you have to supplement your income and you have to be okay with not making money until your business does well. You have to think of it as in like a business mindset. So definitely you want to make sure that you research what you're doing before you put all your eggs in the basket. I did so much research. I almost gave up a couple times because I was like, I can't find anything. Like, I'm never going to find anything. This is not going to work for me. But you want to research all your profitability margins. You want to research, the areas in your location, things like that. So that's definitely what you want. I need a mentor. I will definitely mentor you. If you want. I'm a beginner just like everybody else. I'm definitely not an expert, so I can only answer questions based off what I've experienced myself. And that kind of goes into the next question that I got. It says, do you find a mentor before you started? If so, how did you find one? So I didn't really necessarily find a mentor. I had my friend who had done it before, but I also have my friend Angel, and I'm gonna plug her here. Her Instagram is, I'll pop it right there. So go look her up, screenshot this and go look her up. But she does Airbnb. She had, I think, 2 Airbnbs at the time. Now she has a couple more maybe. But she had 2 in Center City, Charlotte, in a high-rise building at that. And she was making good money off of that. So I asked her about it, how did she get into it, different things like that. If you want me to ever do a video with her just talking about this stuff, I will definitely do that if you guys comment. And I'll ask her, of course. But yeah, so I had her answer some of my questions. So she was kind of like my mentor. So I didn't really buy a course, anything. She does have a course as well. So when you go to her Instagram, you can definitely purchase her course. I think it's really inexpensive, maybe like $100 or so. I didn't personally get a course before I started. I just did my research by myself. Okay, so any furniture saving tips? Definitely do Facebook Market, do Habitat Restore, because a lot of the times those things are very good quality. They're just a little like lived in, but you can always reinvent them. I'll put a picture right here. I got a $900 sofa with like a whole pull out, like a whole sofa bed, and I got that. It was like a Value City furniture or whatever. It was gonna take me like 3 months before I got it, which would have been horrible because I would not be making money in that 3 months because I wouldn't have a couch in the living room. And it was like $2,000. I got it on Facebook Market for $900, so I saved like $1,000. And all I had to do was like clean it and do all that stuff, vacuum it and stuff like that, and then it was good as new. So I would definitely say bargain hunt as much as you can. Definitely, if it's worth it, buy new things for sure. Buy things online. With the shortage in furniture right now, it can be kind of hard to find things online just because, there's not wood and there's not people to make the furniture. So you just have to account for that. But Amazon gets here quick, stuff like that. What are things you don't allow at your stay and why? So I personally do not allow smoking. I do put it in big print so all my guests can see it, that they will get fined if they do that. I don't allow parties. I had one guy when I first opened my Airbnb try it. He said he was only having like 6 people because my place fits 6 people, but he had like 12 people show up, and I literally went there and knocked on the door. So don't try and cross your Airbnb host, just saying. But I don't allow parties, I don't allow smoking, I don't allow pets because pets bring odors and hair and pee and poop, and I don't have time to be cleaning that up. My cleaners don't have time to be cleaning that up, so I just don't. And then excessive noise, because it is in a building with other people who do work. I just tell my guests to, keep their voice down. Don't be listening to loud blasting music after like 9 o'clock or so, things like that. How did you come up with the price per night? So when I first initially started my Airbnb, I did my profit margins and everything like that on an Excel like formula sheet, and I actually had proposed it at way higher than what I'm actually doing right now. So since I am in the slow period right now, I significantly increased my price per night. But when I came up with my profit margins, I looked at Mashvisor. I'll pop that right here for anyone that, it's going to be starting. Mashvisor, buying the subscription plan or whatever is a good idea because they go through all of the different, margins, neighborhoods that are good in Airbnb. They also have traditional rental property margins. They tell you how much people are charging for what size, the occupancy rate. So that's really how I decided my price per night was the occupancy rate. So based on how much Airbnbs were getting booked per month in that area. It depended on how much I was going to charge and also the location. So a bunch of different factors went into it in order to determine how I was going to price it per night. So the next question is, how are you guaranteed that people will book with you? What ways can I stand out? So the best thing I can say is this. If you're going to go into the Airbnb business thinking that you're going to be 100% booked for the whole entire day or for the whole entire month, don't do it, because you don't want to have your hopes up, because that's not going to happen. And if you do have 90 to 100% occupancy rate, that means your prices are too low and your standard of guests, like your quality of guests, are not good. And that's something that any Airbnb superhost will tell you. You want to stay in about the 80 to 85 range of bookings per month, because that tells you that you're not selling yourself too short and you're not getting the people that will just pay low prices and just trash your place. Like, you want to have good guests in there. I'm not saying that good guests won't pay less. I'm just saying you don't want to, it's not that you don't. If you can get 100% occupancy rate with a good price per night and great guest quality and all that, kudos to you, and that's 100% good. But you can't ever guarantee that you're going to get booked. Like, I went into it not thinking that I was going to get booked 100%. I did my Excel sheet. I did how much money would I profit? And of course, profit is how much money the business makes minus, of course, like the rent and utility and expenses. So how much would I profit if I only got booked 50%, if I only got booked 75%, if I only got booked 80%? So you want to do that just because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to think that you're going to get a profit of $5,000 from being booked 100% and then only get booked 50% and then you're not even making rent. So you don't want to go into it thinking that way. What ways can you stand out? Great title, great description. So my title is spacious 2-bedroom, 2-bath, right behind Bank of America Stadium. The first picture you see is the Bank of America Stadium from the window of my unit. You want to do things to appeal to people who are looking in that area. If they see things that they're familiar with or that they're going to in your pictures, in your description, details, all that stuff matters, and that's how you will stand out. Can you name the top 3 challenges you faced with your first Airbnb? I would say the number one, it's not really that is a challenge, it's just something that I've had to figure out, is getting a cleaner that I really trust. So I use Turnover B&B, which I'll pop right there. So Turnover B&B is basically just a site that has a bunch of cleaners in the area. You put up your space, you set it on the website, and people bid how much they would charge for that space. So I found one and I've been using her. It's just that sometimes she doesn't communicate the best, or sometimes, just different issues like that. So the number one challenge, or not really challenge, but the number one thing that I've run into is finding a cleaner that I actually like, because I do get a lot of turnovers. I do get a lot of people staying, one night and then leaving the next night, and then I have someone coming in the next day, because I have my minimum length set at 1. And you don't have to do that. Like, I'm going to be changing it to 2 days minimum, so that way I don't have to be, have someone coming in every single day to clean it. So that's number one. The second challenge that I have is the parking situation. So the building that I'm in, they only have one spot assigned to the unit, which is not a bad thing, because you get a garage opener, things like that. I still am wary about giving them the garage opener, because people forget things, and then if I don't have it, I have to charge them like $500 for a new one, and just a big old mess. So the parking situation, so we do have free parking around the building, but during like events and stuff like that, which a lot of people were coming to Charlotte and staying in my Airbnb to go to Bank of America Stadium, so they can't park on the side of the street because of like Charlotte event rules and things like that. So just figuring out all of that has been not really an issue, but it's just something that I have to figure out a solution for. And yeah, so the third thing, definitely just finding it. It's definitely a tedious process. If you're not ready to put in the work, I would say don't do it yet. I wouldn't say don't do it forever, but just don't do it yet. It is a tedious process, getting a lot of no's. You're going to hear a lot of, no, we don't do that. no. Like, it's okay to call a place and ask them if they allow it and them tell you no and then just move on. Like, a lot of places are going to do that. So that was the hardest thing I had to overcome opening up my first Airbnb, because I definitely am shy and I don't like to talk to people and hear no and get rejected and things like that. So it was hard for me to hear no a lot, and I almost gave up, but I didn't. Is it a challenge to maintain Airbnbs from different states, country? Is it possible? So this is actually what I'm about to find out. So I'm going to Miami as a little test run. I'm going with my friend Angel for 3 days, and I have about 4 guest parties coming in during the time. Well, I'm going to New York the week before too, so I'm going to be gone a total of like 2 weeks. So I have 4 guest parties coming in the span of those 2 weeks. So I'm not going to be here. So to combat the issues of not being here if a guest needs something or anything like that to, answer my cleaner's questions or whatever, I am looking into, and I posted this on my Instagram, into finding a co-host or a property manager. So I've already talked to some girls, and I'm going to have them basically, come with me one day and understand what it takes when a guest calls and you need to go run over there right quick and do something for them. Just someone that's going to be responsible, reliable, always there, because that's the number one thing about Airbnbs. You need to be there for the guests if they have something wrong or if they need your help, because that's how you get those ratings. That's how you get, you stay away from problems. I have nothing but 5-star ratings. You can go check my Airbnb website, which is in the link in my bio, by the way. I don't think it's impossible at all. I mean, I've known some people that live in Charlotte that have Airbnbs in Tampa, Florida, and they just have people to be there. You just have to have a team. Like, you have to have a reliable cleaner that knows where to put the keys, the keypad numbers, the lock, all that stuff. Like, you just need to have people that will do the work for you if you're going to be somewhere else. And I'm planning on moving out of Charlotte soon to go explore getting an Airbnb in a different state. So I'm going to have to find a property manager. I'm going to have to find a cleaner that's always going to be there, things like that. So I don't think it's impossible. I just think it's something that you have to be ready for. All right, what would you consider a perfect Airbnb location, and how would you find one? So the perfect Airbnb location, I don't think any Airbnb, as cliche as it's going to sound, is ever going to be perfect, because I don't think anyone ever gets like 100% booked unless they're just like the best or they're in a really, really great location. But what I would consider a perfect location is if you do your research, if you're in a city and what people come to that city for, what people live in that city for. Like, for example, Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, the Hornets Spectrum Arena, the Knights Stadium is all in the same area. And that's why my Airbnb is in the perfect location, because it's central to a lot of different things. So if your Airbnb is central to a lot of different bars, restaurants, foods, sports arenas, things that people are coming to that city for, then that's a great location. Now, if you're out, like, for example, the reason why I didn't do it in university is because if you're going to university, if you know anything about Charlotte or UNCC, people that stay close to there are going for graduations or for events on campus. And then it's like a 15 to 20 minute drive down to Charlotte Center City, which is where everything is. So you don't really want to have an Airbnb out there if you're looking to attract people that are coming to Charlotte to be in the midst of things. So you really just want to know your city. For example, like Miami, I would get an Airbnb, I don't really know because I haven't done my complete research, but based off of being a traveler, somewhere on the beach that has a good rate, because spring breakers go and want to party and want to be able to wake up and just go to lunch, go to brunch, go get drinks, go to the beach right outside their door. So that would be a good location, and you can charge people because they're going to pay no matter what. So, okay. That's kind of the next question too, what to look for when choosing property. So those are kind of all the questions that I had. I feel like I've been talking so much. So if you do want me to do a part 2 of this video, I definitely will. Ask me some more in-depth questions. If you want me to do a video with my friend Angel, who also has Airbnb, she's actually moving to somewhere. I'm not going to tell, I almost told you guys, but I'm not going to slip up like that. I'm going to let her expose her stuff. But if you want me to do a video with her, I will. I'm going to be posting the video of the process of opening it. I don't know when. I've started literally started as in putting one clip in the editor. So I don't know when that's going to be done, but we're going to hope for soon. So if you want more videos like this and more content about entrepreneurship, as well as juggling a everyday life and being an Airbnb host from a beginner herself, then keep on watching my videos, subscribe to my channel, like this YouTube video. What did they say? Like this video if you want more educational content like this, and get it to, let's see, 1,000 likes, because I am a beginner. I'm not going to shoot for the fucking stars. Ooh, I'm not going to shoot for the stars here, but get it to 1,000 likes if you want me, let's see, if you're ready to make your own money and work for yourself, period. And there's nothing wrong with having a job and doing this at all. So don't think I said that. But yes, get it to 1,000 likes. If you enjoyed this video, turn your post notifications on so you know when I'm uploading a brand new video. And besides that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Love you. Ciao.
Don't heed solemn ring, nor when it calling me.